The first time I heard really amazing sound from a high-end stereo system, it literally changed my life. I remember I was 14 years old and I went shopping with my dad to replace the old Sears rack system we bought years earlier. I'd never heard anything like that. And since then, it's been like a drug. Like I've been chasing the dragon, trying to relive that experience. 25 years I've been listening to speakers, and I've heard some stuff that came close, but nothing took me back to that moment quite like the speakers that are sitting behind me right now. These are the GoldenEar Triton One, and they are awesome. Obviously, we're looking at a pretty statuesque speaker, 54 inches or 4.5 feet tall. That's a big speaker. Fortunately, they look pretty trim from the front, but turn to the side and you can see that they take up a fair amount of real estate, and that means they're gonna have some presence in the room. But everything about the size and the shape is deliberate. These carefully curved front edges and the asymmetrical cabinet all contribute to a speaker that sounds cleaner and more natural without a bunch of extra stuffing inside. Speaking of what's inside, we've got 5¼ inch mid-range driver sandwiching a high velocity folded ribbon tweeter in the middle. Then just below that, we have 3 oval-shaped 5x9 inch bass drivers. Those are fed by a 1600 watt digital amplifier. And on both sides, we've got 2 7x10 inch bass radiators. These are passive radiators. Now, you just put that all together and what you've got is a whole lot of air moving in the room. You might think with a built-in amp that connections would be complicated, but they're not. You've got your typical positive and negative speaker terminals here, and if you just plug in directly from your amp, it's gonna tap that signal and reproduce bass for you. However, if you want to replace a standalone subwoofer with these speakers, you can run out of the subwoofer output of your receiver into this LFE input, and it automatically handles balancing everything out. You get to control what the overall bass level is with this volume dial, but the mix between stereo bass and ultra low movie bass is automatically taken care of by the speaker. We're gonna save all our raving about how wonderful these speakers sound for our full review, but I will tell you that the pros definitely outweigh the cons. There's only a couple of them anyway. This speaker grill cloth or sock that's over is not removable, and honestly, it is a magnet for cats. You gotta think about that. Also, these trim pieces at the top and the bottom are glossy black, but they're plastic. They feel a little cheap for a $5,000 a pair speaker, and they're also dust and fingerprint magnets. But you know what? Those are small concessions to make for what we think is the best sounding speaker we've heard in decades.